Hey, Pro Nerds, it's Iggy, and I'm at the Boulder Film and Brew Festival at Asher Brewing Company in Boulder, Colorado. We're here for another awesome festival by the Colorado Festival Productions. Great team putting on shows. And I'm sitting down, and we're talking about King of Beers, a full-length documentary about Anheuser-Busch. And with me is Gene Bocis, of the general manager of the Anheuser-Busch Brewery in Fort Collin.
Yeah.
See, I got it all. We were practicing beforehand. So how you doing, Gene?
I'm doing great.
Awesome. So is it really cool because we're at a brewery doing a film festival, and so a lot of theme stuff, and it's awesome to be able to have kind of literally the king of beers, as it's referred to, right?
Yep.
Out here to represent themselves with a cool documentary. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what King of Beers is all about?
Yeah, the King of Beers documentary is a full-length film about Budweiser and all the things that go in to make Budweiser. But what makes it so much fun is there's a competition. So 65 breweries around the world make Budweiser, not just here in the U.S. You got to remember, Budweiser is humongous outside the United States. So 65 breweries all over the world making Budweiser. All these beers get shipped into St. Louis on a monthly basis and get tasted by a elite group of taste panel folks. Usually they're brewmasters as well. Mm-hmm. We're getting scores, and we get ranked. And it happens every month. And at the end of the year, one brewery will stand up as the brewery with the best tasting Budweiser in the world.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's a pretty cool thing. Really.
Yeah, it is.
And I think it drives, it sounds like it would drive creativity, obviously, in the word perfection, but that strive to perfection, right?
Yeah.
To make it as best as you can. One, how do you get that job being the beer master? To taste it all.
Yeah.
Awesome. I guess you got to be in St. Louis. But Anheuser-Busch originally out of that, but as you mentioned, it's global. Do you have any, and I don't know if you know this off the top of your head because it's going to be an astronomical number, how many barrels a year Anheuser-Busch does?
Yeah, so Anheuser-Busch as a North American unit, which is the U.S. Market and the Canadian market, is about 100 million barrels of beer a year. So
100 million barrels.
But you got to remember,
in
the entire globe, we make a third of the world's beer.
So you're looking at north of a 250 million barrels a year of beer. For those of you salivating, yes, that's a lot of beer ready to drink. Yeah. And it's been around for quite a while, too. Anheuser-Busch you're no new kid on the block, that's for sure, too. So the documentary highlights the competition, a lot of breweries all over the world. That's a really cool thing. So do these breweries, do you guys provide kind of, I don't want to say locally, but regionally? Is it typically how that gets done?
Yeah, we have 12 breweries in the United States. So let's just take the United States to start with. 12 breweries around the United States. The nice part is they're spread out so that we can get fresh beer to the wholesaler and to the retailer pretty regularly. So when you go into a liquor store, you go into a supermarket, you go into a retail establishment, and you want to get a beer, it's as fresh as you're going to get because our breweries are well placed. So that gives us a strong advantage over a small brewery that is sitting, say, on the East Coast, and they want to get their beer out to Los Angeles.
Right. Definitely. And you got more locations than the U.S. Mint, so that's what matters, right? More beer than money.
Yeah.
Well, we need the money for the beer, but either way, right? So how long have you been with Anheuser-Busch?
My career is spanned over, I'm in my 28th year with Anheuser-Busch, and I've never done anything else in my life. So I think I had one other job where I cleaned rugs with vacuums when I was 16 years old. I got fired from that, but as I went into college, I realized I wanted to be an engineer. I went to school for engineering, and at the time, it was 1988, and I was going into the intern office at my college where I was at Northeastern University in Boston, and I was flipping through a bunch of companies, and Anheuser-Busch came up, and I said, I think that's the beer company. I'm going to be very interested.
Right.
Well, I drove up to Merrimack, New Hampshire, which was an hour outside of Boston, and I applied, and I got the job, and I've been with them ever since. So I started as an intern, got hired full-time. I've lived all over the United States. I've worked internationally in China, in Germany, in Russia. I've had an opportunity to go so many locations with Anheuser-Busch, and it's been a tremendous journey. And, the person who tastes beer, anybody can taste beer. Tasting beer doesn't take a global brewmaster certification. Right. But as you go through your career, I was able to get that Global Brewmaster certification, and a lot goes into it. So we take a lot of passion, there's a lot of integral parts of making the beer that you have to understand to truly want to make that perfect beer. And as you watch the documentary, to make a lager is very difficult. It's much easier to make beers through dry hopping, because you can cover up.
Well, that's
a
why
lot
there's
of
IPAs everywhere, because they're the easy ones to make.
Exactly.
Right?
I love the quote in the movie when a guy says, "I can cover up the taste of a dead cat in a double IPA," and that's true.
I'm not going to argue with it. I'm not an IPA guy myself, but yeah, definitely. And the coolest thing about this is everything I'm picking up from the way you talk about it now, the way you talked about it earlier. You love this.
Yeah.
It seems like you're passionate about it.
Yeah.
And when you talk about people who really do good at what they do, when they're passionate about it, you're going to produce better. And it sounds like you and the team you work with just really love it.
Yeah, and Anheuser-Busch, it's a very, we're very prideful. We have a long history, 165 years of brewing tradition. So we have that pride, but also we have competition, right? We love the competitive nature of what we do. But when you come into a brewery like an Anheuser-Busch brewery, large brewery, 10 million barrel brewery, you realize there's people and there's passion. And when you have those together, you have great people and you have strong passion for what you do, you can make great beers. So it doesn't matter whether you come into Asher Brewing Company and you have 4 employees making great beer, or you go into a brewery like Anheuser-Busch and you have 500 people making beer. It is about the people and the passion.
Exactly. And I love, a big thing I do is I actually travel. Anytime I travel, I like to go to especially the microbreweries and collect the glasses and taste. And we've done so many tours courtesy of Project Nerd.
Yeah.
And you listen to some, like we ask some of the detailed questions and what it takes, like you mentioned, to make some of these. Yeah. And I get that there's more and more home brewing kits and things like that happening, but to do, especially at that level, and to make it consistently the same over and over again, it takes science. It takes engineering, as you mentioned. Engineering, for sure. So it's pretty cool creative thing. The documentary, obviously really focusing on the competition side, was there a specific year that it focused on the competition and highlighted that whole time and winter, or is it just kind of overall?
No, that competition documented the year of 2017, and it culminated with the award ceremony in early 2018. So every year the competition runs again, and we strive as a brewery in Fort Collins to be the best tasting beer in the world. And I would say here we are, 2019, we are in first place. So now it's October. Tomorrow's October. We're in late September, early October. We're in first place, ready to win it again. So you can say, if you're in Colorado, you're tasting a Budweiser, you have the best tasting Budweiser in the entire world right now.
Yeah, remember that, Dad, down in Texas. Next time you tell me your Bud was better than mine. But definitely, that's awesome. And it's perfect, too, because Colorado's kind of known for beers now.
Yeah,
it's kind of known, at least in the United States, for sure.
It is.
And there's so many beer choices to do here. So nice to know that you guys are putting out the best product right here.
Yep.
And where we live. I don't know about all of you, but at least where we live, right?
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit more. Is this film going to be showing at a bunch of festivals in the circuit? You mentioned it's also already available on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, it's on Amazon Prime. It's been on a lot of circuits. It won the best documentary at the Los Angeles Film Festival.
Awesome.
So we're starting to get the word out on it. My family was here today watching it the first time they saw it. So everybody's getting a first take. It's nice seeing it on the big screen versus just seeing it on your phone and watching it and trying to download it. But from that standpoint, yeah, we're trying to get the word out. It says a great message about the beer. It's also a fun behind-the-scenes look of some things that other people are not going to be able to see what goes into making that beer.
Right, yeah. You don't normally see it when you open up the bottle. Exactly.
No.
Awesome, man. Well, Gene, I appreciate it greatly. Again, it's called King of Beers, documentary available on Amazon Prime, winner of the best documentary at the LA Film Festival.
Yep.
So that's great. That tells you something right there, because LA is where you make the movies, right? Fort Collins Brewery, if you're in the greater Colorado area, obviously #1 right now. We're rooting for them because that's the beer we're drinking. So we're definitely rooting for them. But Gene, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
Until next time, Pro Nerds, subscribe, check us out, go pick up a Bud, and watch King of Beers.